Okay, hopefully I am live. I wish they did like some kind of like audio thing so you can see. So I'm trusting that I am live. Good morning, good day. Well, I am saying good morning because it says mornings with mom, day 3. But hi everyone, I am Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I go by Dr. V. I don't know why I said B. I go by Dr. V. I'm an empowerment strategist and a consultant, and I help. My sweet spot is helping high achieving women expand their brilliance in other areas of their lives beyond their degrees, titles, and positions. And then I'm also on this journey of really, and I had this. I've always wanted to do this, but I told you all like this. Some things that are happening is causing me to like really, just do the doggone thing. So, and this weekend and the event that I attended and the team that I served on and all of that just really confirmed like what was needed. So really bringing in the personal growth, personal development, looking at expanding all areas of people's lives into the education system, whether that's K-12 or higher ed, and focusing on the leaders, the trainers, the developers, the professors that are in the higher ed level, because professors impact K-12 more than people realize, and I don't think people understand like how much that happens. So so people who want to work directly with me, especially women that are being pulled to me, they're like, hey, I need you to work with me, because some of them read my book or some of them have seen the work that I've done. I do that. And then I started talking about some of the work I've done with consulting that really didn't have anything to do with my mathematics or leadership background. Like I tied it in there, but with those, and I just kind of did it and overlooked it, but not realizing like, hey, you already got paid for this. Maybe this is something that people actually need. They were really like wanting to get to the heart and soul of teaching. And I was like, look, you can only do so much content. And I'm bringing that up because my mom was like that. And I'm doing these mornings with mom. This is day 3, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But my mom was like that. Her main career job, she was in the dental industry, but her passion was really helping young adults, children, and women understand the Bible in a practical way. Now, I do talk about the Bible and God, but I'm not like a theologian, is that the word? Or a scholar like that. So I don't teach the Bible in that way, but I'm seeing that as I go on this journey of personal growth and personal development and all of that, they got these principles from the Bible. So you can believe in God or believe not in God or in Jesus, but that's where these principles come from. So I find myself being more and more like my mom, right? So in this, when we're younger, a lot of us are like, we don't want to be like our parents. We don't, I used to hate when people say, oh my gosh, you look like your mom. Oh my gosh, you act just like your mom. And truth be told, people think that I look like my mom until they see my dad and they're like, oh my gosh. So I really don't look like my mom. I look like my dad, but I do have these cheeks. She's blessed me to have these cheeks that people are getting injections for. I used to hate them, but I love them because they are a rare gift. I'm all plumped, and that's also due to some of the supplements I take, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. So what I've been doing, and which I'll be doing all the way up until Mother's Day, is bringing life back to this book I wrote on behalf of my mom. And I wrote it with my sister, something short, something simple. And we will be revamping this, but I don't know when I'm going to revamp it. So until then, I just want to make sure enough people actually get started. Because sometimes, and I just had this conversation with one of my team members, friends, who's also my publisher. And I was like, we start so many projects trying to get them right when there are people who need exactly what we created in that moment. So I'm not saying we're giving people trash or something that's less. Like I put a lot of heart and soul into this book, and I was like, oh, I do want to revamp it because I'm in a different space, but I was like, somebody could use it right now. And I did this in 2019. People see great reviews from it, and then I kind of left it alone, and I'm not going to do that. So I created a way to get this book. It's on Amazon, but the link is also in my bio. And if you aren't going to my links in the bio, It's called Practical Applications for Biblical Principles, Lessons from Our Mother. And one quick way is just to type my name into Amazon, Vernita Glenn -White, and it should come up. I wrote 2 books with this one. All right, and I think it's 50% off right now because it's been out there for a minute. It's really small, and it's just a fun, easy read. And those aren't just my words. Those are the people who purchased the book in 2019. That's what they told me. So, yeah, people are waiting for whatever you have created. And I've created so many things, and now it's like, okay, at some point, the people need to see your creations, right? So I have this book, and then I also created a companion course that talks about the spiritual first aid kit. It's in this book, but I'm not reading the spiritual first aid kits in here. But you can go on there. The link is also, like when you go to the link in the bio to see the book, you scroll and it'll take you to the course, and you get to see a free preview before you do anything. And then the class is like $27 or something like that. And I did that because some people were asking, like way back, hey, do you train on this, or what does it actually look like to put this kit together? And I was like, if you read the book, you can figure it out. But I'm realizing, like, some people everybody doesn't want to read. Not like people everyone doesn't want to read. I'm one of those, and I've shared that before. It's like, how are you writing books and you have this PhD and you don't like to read? Because I don't. Just like people say they don't like to do math, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Why not? But then I also realized, like, some people, they need the visual, even over some simple stuff. Like, how many times have you gone to YouTube? And I'll speak for me. I've gone to YouTube, like, it was a salt grinder, and I was like, how to get this top off this salt grinder? And I'm reading the instructions, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And I found a clip that was 1 minute and 31 seconds just to show me how to get this particular salt grinder off. So that lets me know that, look, people want to see some stuff. All right, so let's get into this. I want you to stay around because I do read a passage. They're very short, like a page and a half. I'll read that so you can just get a preview of what's in the book. And then I also take my supplements, and then I'll tell you why I always include supplements into everything that I do when I go live. All right, so this is called Miss Connie's Corner. And my mom, her name is Connie, so we call her Miss Connie. And this is one of my favorite lessons from her. It talks about the thermometer and the thermostat, adjusting inside versus outside. So what my mom would do, and this is why this book is called Practical Applications, she didn't just talk about stuff. She brought in physical, whatever she could find that was related to what she wanted to teach. She would find that actual product. And that's probably why I became an educator as well, because I wanted to be able to break things down for people. And if I can find something for them to physically look at it to get that understanding, then that's what we're going to do. And that's probably why I'm transitioning, how I'm transitioning too. So yeah, I'm getting more and more like my mother all the time. Okay, so tonight in Bible study, Miss Connie asked, who or what controls you? So she's talking to teenagers and young adults. So some middle school, but mainly high school and college students who would come back on their break, or if they were in college at in the local universities or whatever, or if they graduated and they're like, look, Miss Connie, I still need you in my life. She pulls 2 items from her bag. My mom had this rolling suitcase that she took with her everywhere. Even when she was speaking at women conferences all over the state of Florida, she would roll this little black suitcase with her that had all of her props. She pulls 2 items from her bag, a thermometer and a thermostat. Miss Connie shares the difference between items that sound so similar. A thermometer and thermostat may sound like the same device, but they operate completely different. A thermometer reads the temperature in the room. For example, if the room is cold, the device will tell you based on degrees that the room is cold. Conversely, if the room is hot, the device will display a number in degrees, indicating that the room is hot. Let me take a sip of water. Ooh, I'm talking in the morning. A thermostat regulates the temperature. So a thermometer reads, a thermostat regulates. The device makes small adjustments to heat or cool the room. For example, if a room gets too cold, the thermostat will adjust and warm it up. The device works based on the temperature set by the controller or operator. If you set the thermostat at 78 degrees Fahrenheit, the device will warm up or cool down the room to your desired temperature. A lot of the kids in the class thought they were the same thing. That thermostat and the thermometer, they thought they were the same thing. Ms. Connie continued with her lesson. In many cases, we tend to be in thermometer mode by allowing outside influence to dictate our days and mood. I'll read that again. In many cases, we tend to be in thermometer mode by allowing outside influences to dictate our days and mood. How many of us as adults have been guilty of that? So my mom was like really trying to give young people some tools and some foundation, so when they got older, they had these same tools. If we walk into school, our jobs, social events, and church meetings and feel tension in the air, we often take on this tension and fall into the routine or habits, just like the people who were there before us. In the same situation, if we took on the characteristics or traits of the thermostat, we have already set our intentions and internal temperature. We will tell ourselves that we will have a productive, but I'll insert positive too. We tell ourselves we will have a productive and positive day at the office or church meeting, do well in school, or that we will increase our network at the event. This time, if the room had a bad vibe when you arrived, you would not be impacted because your temperature or intentions were already set. So you go in, if you're a cool 75, I don't care if the room is ice cold at 50, you still at 75. That's really what it's saying. If everybody is in a funk when you get to the office or if you get to the classroom, you don't fall into the funk. You're like, I don't know what your problem is, but I still have this smile on my face. At this point, your focus is on being strategic and getting your environment to match your energy or temperature. In negative situations, you never adjust to the environment. Never allow people to change you. And when we were younger, especially teenagers and early college, we were like, whatever, I run me, don't nobody run me, I do this and that. But then if you look around, it's like, no, people are actually running you. And it's very subtle. And that's what my mom was trying to come across to the people every time she taught this. It's subtle because sometimes when we think, oh, people change you, we think that their words or what they say, like they have this control of us. Like they're saying, I'm going to change you. I don't like the way you dress. I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you talk. You need to do this, that, and the other. In extreme cases that happens, but if you notice, like you start picking up certain language, you start changing your dress style or the way you do certain things, when you're around certain people. So they're not directly telling you to change, but those influences, those subtle subconscious cues are changing you. So then I ended with the scripture, Titus 1:8 from the AMPC version. So it's like the Amplified, but it's the AMPC. But he must be hospitable, loving, and a friend to believers, especially to strangers and foreigners. He must be a lover of goodness, of good people and good things, sober-minded, sensible, discreet, upright and fair-minded, a devout man, and religiously correct, temperate, and keeping himself in hand. All of that to say is you can only control you. You keep yourself together and always look for the good in people, especially through love. I'm still working on this. Like, however people are coming at you, you still look at them through love and the goodness. Easier said than done. And then questions to consider as I wrap this up. How would you describe yourself in most situations? As a thermometer or a thermostat? So I do believe we are both in different cases. But then it's like you have to make a decision of which one is going to be your dominant. Now, if you want to just go with the flow every time and, you want to be up and down, that's cool. And then you may not want to, but that's how you're reacting. So it is an intentional choice. If you are mostly a thermometer, how does it feel to always adjust to your environment? How does it feel to always adjust to your environment? See, this is why we need to revamp some things. How does it feel to always adjust to your environment? How does that make you feel? How has it served you at your core? And this is why I'm really doing the work of personal growth, personal development, and not just the rah-rah motivation, but really doing some work to really transform your life. Because we can say certain things and act a certain way, but our true feelings comes from our core, our gut, the intuition inside. So that's why I have that question there. What is one thing that you can do to shift more towards being a thermostat? My mom was all about getting into action. It's like, okay, we had this good talk and this good scripture. You've identified where you are, where you want to be. So now what? And I think a lot of times we end anything, whether that's teaching in schools, teaching lecture halls, doing trainings at the corporate job, we leave people feeling like, okay, we can do this, we can make the sale, we can reach the quota. Yes, we know what to do. But it's like, okay, we know what to do, but what are you going to do to make this happen? Action. If you are a thermostat, what steps did you take to ensure that you remain true to your core without allowing your environment to influence your mood? It is important to identify these steps as it will allow you to support others who may seek your advice. I included that because a lot of times, especially those of us who are consultants or trainers or coaches, sometimes we think everyone starts at the bottom, but that's not true. There are people who are right here at the top. They're good. They've been, at the top of their game. And we need to let them know that you've been there, but we need to help them unpack, what did you do so that others can do the same thing. I was like that when I wrote my second book. People are like, okay, I remember you when you were over here, and now I see you over here. What did you do in this in-between time? And I was like, oh, I just got myself together. And they're like, what does that mean? And I had to spend this time unpacking my steps, because it came easy, or I was so like in the middle of it. When I finally got out, I was like, whew. But then people were like, okay, how did you do that? And I was like, what? It was just natural, but not at the time it wasn't. So that's another thing that I do with women who want to work directly with me. And I've had some men too, not as like actual clients, but they would, before I realized that I could make this into an income stream, they would still come to me and ask me for advice to do things because I could see things that they couldn't see. So, I mean, my focus is women, but I've had a few good men to come and say, hey, help me see this way. So anyway, it's Mother's Day that's coming up, and I would love for all of you to purchase a few of these because it's like $8, I think. You know how Amazon is. You want to go ahead and get that free shipping. Go ahead and bundle them and give those out as gifts. You know, some people, everyone doesn't love flowers. Everyone doesn't want a card. Everyone doesn't want a dinner. So just give that out and encourage a mother figure, a caregiver who was a mother. If you are a mother, encourage yourself, and find ways to, one, fill your cup, and then two, maybe this will help you find an entry point to talk to your children, your bonus children, or the children that you serve. And we're not just talking about little kids. We're talking about some grown children too, to restore those relationships. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments below. I would love for you to share this with some other mothers or mother figures. And I say that because everyone doesn't have their biological mother, but we have godmothers. Someone I call my mother. We have these women figures who had a significant impact on our lives. All right. So the next thing I do, I take my morning supplements, take them every day, and then I'll tell you why I do this. Now, you only need a tablespoon of everything I take. Hi, Coach Max. I just ended, I talked about the book I wrote on behalf of my mom, and it's biblical principles, so you would appreciate that. So tell your crew in at your church, if they do like any youth Bible study or young adult Bible study, they can get a copy of that book. So you don't have to do this, but I can't find my tablespoon, so I'm doing 2 of these. When I used to watch people on my team and they say, I can't find my spoon, I'm like, how in the world do you lose the spoon? I get it. So I need to order multiple tablespoons. So this is my liquid collagen. Again, you don't have to do 2 of these, but I have to because I lost my spoon. And then I take liquid vitamins. And this one, this one has minerals in it as well. All right, so if you're interested in any of those, you can message me, go look at some of my highlights, or you can go and get the free 12 area assessment. The link is in my bio, and then it'll start sharing more information about the products, or you can message me and say, hey, what's that? So I'm not going to go through all of that. I'm just going to highlight a product. This right here, a probiotic. I don't care if you don't get anything else from my e-commerce venture. You need to get a probiotic. And I'm not suggesting, I'm saying everyone should get a probiotic, because that is your gut is the brain of your body. And I know for like my mom, you know, because she had the cancer and everything like that, when I was doing some research, and I'm not saying the probiotic will stop cancer, but it would, when your gut is healthy, you release all of the toxins that are in your body. And sometimes if you're not going every day or after every meal, as some people do, things are getting backed up in your system. Now, my mom didn't have that particular problem, but when she had started taking her medications and everything like that, she would get backed up in everything. And we didn't think that you needed a probiotic. We would do, I know this is TMI, but it's the truth. We would do things like stool softeners, but that wasn't the issue. Now that I'm looking back all these years later, she needed a healthy gut. She needed a healthy probiotic to get the medication and everything out of her body like that. So not only would that have worked for her, but a probiotic on it for anybody, I think is major. So I'm not going to take it because I shifted to this fancy probiotic. I'll tell you about that later. But last month, I took this every day and I saw a major difference in my body, because I wasn't the one, again, TMI, who was going like I should. Me and my grandmother have the same digestive issues. And I've had it like that since I was young. But once I started taking a probiotic, no problems at all. And my supplements started doing better. I start feeling better, and I wouldn't get those brain fogs that I would usually get. Because I used to think it's because I was tired. It was like, no, because you need to clear yourself out. So the probiotic, and it's like $30. And if you're new with me, you get $10 off to try it. And if you do Smart Ship, you get an extra 15% off, I believe, your first order. So that's the best part. That's the best time to order. But if you do nothing else, yes, Coach Max, probiotics are very important. And this is not fiber. I know someone like one time was like, well, I just take fiber. But this is like a higher level of what to do, because it's more than just putting fiber in your body. Just research probiotics. That's what I'm going to say. Very useful. It gets into the gut. It keeps things moving. And then it gives you the healthy things that you need in your gut system. So this one is good. It tastes like candy. I kid you not. And you can message me about this and I'll just send you a link. So probiotic, that's the highlight of the day. For all of you mothers, stay healthy. Ask your kids for a Mother's Day gift. Don't say, take me out to a fancy dinner. Tell them to get you some health and wellness products so that you can be around for them. My mother left my sister and I way too soon. She was in her early 50s when she left. So that means she had the cancer in her 40s before she even knew it. So mothers, take care of your bodies for yourself and for your children. All right, so that's all I have for you. Thanks for joining me on day 3 of Mornings with Mom, and I will see you all tomorrow. Or if you're watching this on the replay, I will see you in the next series. All right, have an awesome day. Be well, Be bold, be empowered, and be brilliant. Bye.